content you consume. And this could be music. And I think a big part of mental health is the music you consume. Because going through sadness, or going through hardships, or going through hard times, especially as a younger kid, I think this applies more, especially in those teenage years or high school, public school times. You're sad, you'll listen to sad music, or you're depressed, and you'll listen to artists that fall in that same category of they're kind of depressed and sad, and that's what they sing about, that's what they rap about, and it kind of just reinforces your own sadness, your own depression. And not only is it reinforcing your own sadness and your own depression, you're then connected to theirs as well. So you're identifying with that person or that artist or that content creator's pains or traumas as well as your own, and you kind of identify with them in a way. And I was thinking about this because from, I guess, what would you say, 2016 till 2018, 2019, there was this huge genre of emo rap kind of music creators. And some of the artists were Mac Miller, Juice World, XXS, XXX Tentacion, like Lil Peep, Lil Skies, and they were this sort of like Lil Pump, all these different rappers, emo rap type, SoundCloud type, but they were singing and talking and rapping about suicidal thoughts and ideas and depression and all the drug consumption, all this, because there was a huge time that it was all Xanax consumption and all Percocets and all these different prescription pills, that it was very much part of who they were and their identity was consuming this in this world. And I think a lot of people identified with those people for those reasons that they could relate. That's very relatable to someone if maybe someone's suicidal or depressed and sad and now is taking Xanax or certain medications to deal with that, and they see a figure that is popular, that is singing or talking about the same things and showing that life, showing those problems with the pills as well. But most of those people I just named are dead. Most of them died. Juice WRLD dead, Lil Peep dead, Mac Miller dead, XXX dead. And it's very sad. It's very sad that there was a big culture chunk of people that all died out with those problems that really never really solved maybe those depressions, never solved some of those mental health issues that they were having, or drug issues that were wrapped in kind of who they were. So for people, or for mental health people, it's very important who you identify with. I guess you could say it's important who your idols are. It's important who your influences are. And that goes with the content you consume. Because I said there. See, now that I notice it, I say because and these different transitional words. The more you consume and the more you identify with these people who are reinforcing your own ideas, if the singer or the rapper is coming out with the albums or the songs, and I'm not saying this because I don't like their music or don't like them. I love a lot of their music. But if they're constantly coming out with reinforcing ideas of depression and sadness or whatever it is, and that brings up your own sadness, your own depression, your own suicidal thoughts, your own anxieties, your own past trauma, and you constantly go back to it, you constantly listen to it, and it loops over and over, and you drive around listening to this music. You walk around, you listen to this music. Those feelings, those ideas are being drilled. They're being planted so firmly in your psyche that it will be detrimental. There's no question whether it will be detrimental or not, unless you can actively distinguish or put forth a conscious barrier to not let those emotions or not let those depressive thoughts or the depressive lyrics to seep in your past thoughts or negative traumas or whatever it is. So there has to be an active distinction between what you're consuming, the content, the person, and you. If it is a negative or could bring up negative past consequences or negative emotions in you. And that one's so important. That one is so important because music's strange and music's particular because music sticks in a way that I don't think other content sticks. It seeps in due to I think a handful of reasons, the rhythm, the catchiness, that it sticks. It's so sticky music. And I find I'll listen to a song once and then sit down or you try to not think about anything. So for example, you try to meditate, those songs, the lyrics, they'll play over and over. Or here's an example. Think about how many lyrics or how many songs you know. It's probably countless. Or a song will come on from 10, 15 years ago, and you know the lyrics. But you don't think about where those lyrics have been stored, but you just know the lyrics to all of these songs that are so old. And the lyrics, the songs, they stay. For whatever reason, they seep in and they stay. And it's very interesting. So it has a profound effect. It's almost a mesmerizing, magical, like type of influence, I would say, that music is. It's a magical influence. It can be very spiritual, influential, that just due to how far it seeps in and how long it sticks to your consciousness or your thoughts and who you are. Not who you are, but how long it festers in there. It's fascinating. That is so to that I would say to anyone, be careful who you pick to be your idols because it will impact you. It will. And it's so hard to get over. Even even we'll make our playlists. You can have a playlist with hundreds of songs, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs, and some of those past playlists from maybe a childhood or maybe a depressive situation or maybe I think maybe this applies to girls, but they'll have songs that were breakup songs that they played, or they'll remember that, oh, this guy, when me and him broke up, I played this song so much. And hearing that song 5, 10 years in the future can just teleport them back to that moment and those feelings. Or you go to a concert of one of your favorite artists, you listen to them, you enjoy the experience, whatever, and then years go by and you hear that song from that concert and you're teleported back to that moment. So music's very strange in that way, that it can teleport you and change the emotional level, the emotional expression of you in the snap of the finger. You're driving one day, or song comes on the radio, and bam, you're in the past. You're in a moment that maybe you're at your wedding day, the music that was playing. There's a song you slow dance to. for a slow dance. You hear it 20 years in the future, you're back on your wedding day. It's very interesting. It's fascinating. It's fascinating that music does that. So that's one I'm trying to be much more conscious of and alert people. Alert them of the dangers of music. Not the dangers, but it is, I guess you could say, potential danger. It is, but it is a potential danger to be stuck in these time loops or thought loops or past traumatic depressive states or suicidal states due to whatever you were consuming at that time, music, content, then continue consuming it in the future without making that distinguishable factor or thinking about what content or music you're consuming could bring up from the past.